We're going to see some classic romance scenes and maybe a couple death scenes from Cliffhangers. But I'm super excited about this panel. We have some really fun people who have not been up on stage yet. And let's get started with our Southfork super couples. First off, as Bobby and April, these two types that if you're looking to find love after loss, don't honeymoon in Paris. Duffy and Sheree Wilson. Together again. Okay, and then after Sue Ellen finally left JR, it took a couple of men to fill his boots. So please welcome Miss Linda Gray and the studs who played Peter Richards and Nicholas Pierce, Chris Atkins and Jack Scalia. I like this. This could have worked.
Two of you to the question.
So Sheree and Jack, now you two also had story together, but you were never paired romantically, now were you? No.
We did a lot of running together. I guess, I don't know why they did this, but we were jogging in the park all the time.
You're kidding.
Yeah, but they never showed where we ended up. Where were we jogging to?
Well, I find it interesting because, Jack, you have a running partner down where you live sometimes, or a walking partner.
Yes, I did.
Who is that?
Who told you that story?
A little bird.
A little bird. Okay. Yes, Linda and I live in the same community, and so one morning I'm out walking our dog, and I look, I see someone walking towards me, and I go, she looks familiar. And as she got closer, she looked more familiar. Oh God, that's Linda. Linda! The dog's jumping up and down. No idea why the dog's why she's jumping up and down. But then, and of course, there was Linda. So we found out that she lives like a 3-minute walk around the corner from me in this community that we're in. So it's like every other day. We bump into one another, and I don't go, Linda! I just run to her and give her a big hug, you know? So, but it's just fun to see someone that I've known for, a while, not that many years, well, not that old, but it's just, she hasn't aged a day. And it's true, she's beautiful now as she's ever been.
Absolutely.
It's just nice just to stop and see somebody you know and have such a long friendship with. And my wife was here too, so all that stuff was on television. It's not real. But yeah, so that's my walking partner. And when Linda saw my wife, and our dog's name is Cassie, so she goes, "Oh, Cassie's mother, not Jack's wife."
Well, I love to hear those little things. They're all staying in touch. Patrick, am I missing any other couplings here on stage?
I don't think so. The only thing is that it's a death wish to marry Bobby.
Don't I know that?
As much as I try to get married again, they run like roaches when the light comes on. Nobody wants to get near me again, so there's no more couplings for Bobby. Sorry.
As actors, is there anticipation to find out who you're going to be paired with romantically each season? Linda?
Oh, yes. Does this thing work?
It better.
It works.
It is. We've got a whole new system.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
What Sue Ellen had
as you know, many lovers. And
Young ones, too.
of course, I'll tell you the good story in a minute. But there were so many men, and I begged the producers. I said, you know, sometimes there's no chemistry between us, between the actor and myself that they had cast for the lover of the year. And I was like, oh my God, so I kept saying, please let me meet them before, at least meet them, maybe do a little scene with them to see if there's any chemistry. And every year, they did not do it. And it was so, and some were not, so there wasn't any magic. There wasn't any that stuff that you need to spark the relationship. And so year after year after year, until I got to maybe 2 guys on my side, and there was some magic happening that made me happy.
And Pat, for everybody, did you just say it all and who was going to be paired with Bobby?
No, not at all. The Victoria, Pamela Bobby story was long before any of us were cast. But I do remember the casting session. I was already Bobby, and they were bringing in about a half a dozen young ladies to audition for the part of Pamela. And the part was written, as this girl on the ranch who rides horses and does all this stuff. So all four out of the 5 came dressed in a flannel shirt and jeans and cowboy boots and came in like a real, and were good actors and were wonderful in the scene. And the last person to come through the door was Victoria Principal in a see-through blouse and spray-on jeans and high heels, and I went, Pamela! The only input I had. Sheree was already on the show and had dallied with a few other members of the cast on camera. And so then when they finally said, well, what about Sheree and we'll do that, and I said, that would be great. And then they killed her.
Well, yes.
My only input.
We're getting to that. So, like I said, besides Pam and Jenna, they tried probably pairing Bobby with other characters that didn't quite click. Why do you guys think that April and Bobby did click so well? And I think help people get over the Bobby-Pam love story.
Chemistry. We just adored each other. We had so much fun. And it's tough not to fall in love in Salzburg and Vienna, looking at the seas on horseback riding. It was so romantic. It was a fairy
It was
tale.
especially romantic when she would have to take a break from filming to breastfeed her child.
That was after we were married. I forgot to that one detail.
And the husband was over the end of the bed at the time we did a scene. So that was chemistry too.
Absolutely.
Well, we have repositioned the monitors so you guys can see your own clips this time. We apologize for that yesterday. They'll make it more fun. Bobby and April were they were great together, but they were not without their problems. And a lot of that problem was J.R. Ewing. So let's take a look.
I hate tension. We'd have sat around all evening knowing this was coming, and it would have been on both of our minds. You know, first time, how it's gonna be, and all of that. So I thought I'd turn the evening around, and we can talk business later.
I mean, it only happened once. I cannot tell you how much I regret that it even happened at all, but it did, and I can't take it back.
Why are you telling me this now?
Because JR is blackmailing me over it.
Blackmail.
He is threatening to tell you everything that happened between us if I don't keep buying this West Star stock.
What?
Bobby, I know what you must be thinking. I mean, you told me how you felt about Holly Harwood and JR after you found out. But I can't have this hanging over my head anymore. I don't know if we're ever going to be anything more to each other. But I know we can't have any kind of relationship with me feeling this guilty all the time.
Yesterday on our Sultry Sirens panel, Audrey Lander shared that her very first scene on the show was a bed scene with Larry Hagman, and he broke the
So
ice.
was mine.
Let's give it the clip. Not funny? Okay. And Larry broke the ice by literally putting ice down her back. So that was Audrey's introduction to Larry Hagman's antics. I want to ask you, Sheree, what do you remember about the love scenes you shot with Mr. Duffy and also Mr. Hagman? What you can tell us.
I will choose my words wisely. It was the very first time we had a love scene, and we were in Vienna. And I believe that Carly, your beautiful bride, brought in photo albums of the children. She literally sat on the end of the bed, and she said, "Look at all the beautiful photos I put together for the kids." And I'm going, okay, how am I going to do this? Leonard, and so Leonard's wife, Luna, goes, "Hey, I think we should go shopping." And that's this.
It was the magic word shopping.
And then there was one other time where we crawled into bed, and all of a sudden it was like, I don't know if you put them there or who put them there, but there were a lot of toys in that bed. That lumpy mattress.
Like Legos or got Legos?
Football.
Sticky buddies. Okay.
There's always shenanigans. There was never a doubt that there were shenanigans.
It seems like your show more than any other show I hear the stories. It must have been so fun for you guys. You never knowing what to expect. Yeah. Okay, Linda. Sue Ellen became the object of affection of everyone in Dallas, from the more seniors, Clayton Farlow, and very, very, very young and innocent Peter Richards. Before we talk about Peter, I want to ask about Howard. Tell me, we talked about Howard yesterday, Howard Keel. Tell me
Howard
something
Keel.
about him.
Oh my God. Howard Keel. Okay, I've got a great story about Howard. First of all, I adored him. He was gorgeous and lovely and a great voice, etc. On and on. And I remember meeting Howard for the first time, and it was on stage 5 at MGM. And I walked over to him and said I was a big fan, and I adored him, and he was such a good singer, and blah, blah, blah. And then I told him that down the street in Culver City, when I was growing up, I would go to the Peralta Theater and watch Howard Keel and Katherine Grayson do these wonderful old Hollywood musicals. Singing and romance, it was so, so romantic. And I fell in love with Howard Keel. I thought, this is the most handsome man I've ever seen. He has this beautiful voice, great actor. Anyway, on and on. So I stood there in front of Howard Keel on stage 5 saying what a fan I was and how I saw him in the theater and on and on. And so he put his arm around me and as I welcomed him to Dallas, and in a tough role to follow, following Jock Ewing's footsteps. So I said to Howard, where did you film those beautiful old Hollywood musicals? Where did you film when you were with Katherine Grayson? And he said, Linda, I shot them right here. on stage 5, and that's when we were standing. And you know, my love for him grew and grew, and I thought, my God, I've been in movie theaters adoring him, and now I'm standing next to him on the same stage where he filmed all these beautiful Hollywood movies. So I fell in love with him, stayed in love with him forever and ever, amen. So loved him.
He was wonderful. Miss everybody himself. Clayton wanted Sue Ellen, and he ended up with Miss Ellie, but he tried to get you.
He tried.
But there was someone else lurking around. So, Christopher, you went from romancing Brooke Shields in Blue Lagoon to seducing Miss Sue Ellen Ewing in Southfork. What was your reaction when you heard that you were going to be paired with Miss Gray?
Well, originally the storyline was Charlene. It started me off chasing Charlene, unless that was just the beard and I was really going after Sue Ellen. But well, that's Dallas, and every time you think you're going right, you end up going left. Yeah, it was pretty hectic. So, for instance, I was in the Bahamas once, and I'm in this casino in the Bahamas, and when you can kind of feel when people are looking at you and things like that. Well, I just felt this one person, and I'm like, and I turn around, I look, and here comes this old woman, and she's coming straight at me, and she walks right up, gets in my face, and says, "You're too young for her." So that's.
I think you were 21. I think when you started shooting.
She was the first cougar, I'll tell you.
Linda, what did you think when you heard your new romantic partner was going to be?
Well, I didn't know how to take it. I just thought he was wonderful. I saw him in Blue Lagoon, and I thought, oh my God, he's so sexy and handsome and all these things, and he's so young. Oh my God. And I knew, and that was just the beginning of the word cougar. You know, I mean, that kind of started with us, I think, and so I thought, okay, let's do this thing. And I met Chris the first time, and I thought, and he was charming and delightful and absolutely gorgeous, and nobody can rock a Speedo better.
Well,
what am I to do? What's a girl to do?
Like I said before, it first started running down the beach in a diaper, and it turned into a Speedo and half a shirt. I don't know what it is with the wardrobe on these shows.
well, speaking of that, so the romance may not have lasted long, but what a flame it was. Let's have a look.
You're too young to see this.
Come on, Mrs. Richards, just for a couple of minutes.
I'm not Mrs. Richards.
I'm sorry. I've heard so much about Pete's mom, I just assumed.
So, Christopher, do you remember either the trampoline scene or the Speedo scene? Sheree knows.
How many people came up to me the last 2 days and asked if I brought the damn blue Speedo?
Shooting that scene on set, we had to walk in front of your new co-stars, modeling this very skimpy little number. How'd you handle that? I guess you were used to it.
I was just gonna say, I was kind of, the only thing that I was happy with was they didn't curl my hair in this one. They curled my hair in every movie after Blue Lagoon, and then they didn't, because I don't have curly hair, and they didn't curl my hair in that. But yeah, I had to put on that Speedo. You know, it was funny because I don't know how true this is or not, but this came from my manager that I got a note from the network to quit stuffing my Speedo. And I said,
was that note from Mr. Duffy?
I had no idea what he was talking about.
Well, they say everything on film appears larger than it does. They weren't called Speedos for me, they were called lumber alongs. They just kind of drift along. Now, the Speedo is not my favorite either, you know, especially when you have to compete with somebody like these young kids that come up, you know. So Stephen, Keneally, and I were always trying to hold our stomach in.
You made a lot of fans very, very happy, so thank you for your service. So, Linda, I want to ask, it seems like Sue Ellen has dated all sorts of men. What is her type? What is Sue Ellen's type?
Young.
Yeah.
Middle-aged.
What does a man have to be worthy of dating Sue Ellen?
Breathing.
Or any dating advice you might give Sue Ellen? Dating advice. What would you tell her when she's looking for her next?
Dating?
Yeah, if you could talk to Sue Ellen.
Oh my God, dating Sue Ellen. Oh honey, there's such a list, such a long list. But I obviously didn't listen and pay attention. So to anybody, if anybody was just fine. Next.
Christopher, you told me a story not long ago about your first kissing scene with Linda. Tell us that story. It's a great story.
As you know, or probably have heard over the weekend, that everybody on the show is nuts. And so I get on the show, and we had our big first kissing scene. It was a big deal, and everybody was out watching it, which is kind of strange because usually everybody goes home. And so we go and then say action, and we do this kiss, and Linda looks at me and she says, "So how was it?" How do you answer that? It sucked, let's do it again. So I'm trying to think of how to respond, and I said, "Oh, it was yeah. And all of a sudden, my lips go completely numb. And she had taken that stuff from the dentist they put on your gums before they stick the needle in and rubbed it all over her lips. And I'm sitting here looking at her going, "What did you do to my lips?" That's welcome to Dallas.
The story goes on, though. There was more to that story. It continued. You looked up and you saw on a hill, you saw some...
Yeah, well, I ran over and I gave Priscilla one, and she was freaking out because her lips started getting numb, and yeah, it started a whole thing. Yeah. Oh, she didn't like it.
That sounds like an excuse.
And there were spectators that were watching this whole thing. I think, Linda, you set this up, and you had some viewers, and some people up on the hill watching this take place.
Yeah, there were people there.
Watching everything. Well, yesterday, Audrey, as I mentioned, Audrey told us about her first scene was with Larry. What is the discussion between you all when you shoot your first love scene? Before it happens, are there rules? Now they have these intimacy coaches on sets. Who are your own intimacy coaches?
Well, yeah, you know, it's an old joke now in the business, but you get in bed with somebody on the first day of work that you've never met before, and you say, listen, I want to just tell you right up front, I apologize if something happens up front, but I also want to apologize if nothing happens. So, you try and break the ice, but it's a profession. And, you know, it looks very intimate and sexy, and there's music and lighting and everything, but there's 30 or 40 people, you know, standing around watching, holding lights, cameras, you know, boom people with the things, and guys up in the rafters, and you know, everybody everywhere. And there is no intimacy in my experience, but there is a desire to make it look professionally good and to portray the meaning behind the scene. You know, whether it's a kissing scene with your best friend, you can have your best friend on a show and have to have a romantic relationship, or you can, well, you know, I'm very romantically involved with a woman named Linda Pearl, and you know, she does films and plays, and I'm there watching as she falls in love with somebody, you know, and you just have to look at it and go, and then not let her see you do that when you talk to her. But it is a funny business, but it is a business, you know, and everybody knows it's a business. You know, we're not here to wreck families. We're not here to do anything. It's a business, and actually, when you're with your friends, it's even more fun because you are looking out for each other. You're trying to make everybody look good. You know, you want it to be successful, and then you want to go out together as couples or friends and have lunch and do. So, you know, it is show business. You want the other kind of films, you go see those someplace else.
Because your first kissing scene with Linda clearly did not need any coaching. You seem to nail it. I don't know if it's the first take, but it's quite your first kissing scene we're going to see.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah, we're coming to you now. It's your turn.
Talking to you?
The interrogation. Yeah.
Talking to me.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. You're talking to me. Let's look at the screen to see that first kiss between Nicholas Pierce and Sue Ellen Ewing.
I thought you came here to talk about business.
Yeah, I did. Have you seen the latest sales figures?
I have them on my desk.
Let's take a look.
Well, I was looking at them just this morning.
Sue Ellen?
It's so silly of me. They were here earlier. This desk is a mess.
Sue Ellen.
Not so much for sales figures.
I want you. Now.
Tomorrow night.
Yes.
Hey there.
So Jack.
Wait, my wife is right there, Idra. I was just acting. It's only acting.
What is your wife's name, Jack?
Idra.
Did you want to bring up baby pictures or any kid pictures? My question for you,
Thank
Jack.
you.
Jack, when do you make the decision to nibble on Linda Gray's fingers?
Well, when she put it there. If she had put her ear there, I would have nibbled on her ear. If she would have put, I would have nibbled on that.
So fingers was a good choice.
I've been very blessed. I mean, I'll say I have Bo Derek, Raquel Welch, Farrah Fawcett, kissing scenes, Linda Gray, the best kissing scene. The best. Not that the other ones were bad, but she was the best. Because no one else put their finger there.
And now we walk together and talk about your dog. I love it.
Linda, the other thing that has to be asked about are the shoulder pads in that scene. They got bigger.
Who was looking at her shoulder pads?
It was hard not to miss them.
Yeah.
Did you notice at the time that they were getting maybe a little excessively large?
I did. It was the day I couldn't get through the doorway. Oh my God. We might pare these down a little.
Well, when it comes to romance, God giveth and God taketh away. Sadly, none of these romances turned out happily ever after. So I think we should jump probably to Paris. This is the closing scene of the 1990 episode, April in Paris, shot there in France. Get your Kleenex out, guys.
Not yet, Bobby. Wait till they get to the dais.
Where's Jordan?
He couldn't make it. Soon, Bobby. Soon.
round trip tickets.
Just wait till you go to the shower next time.
Not this time. And murdered by Erica Kane from Pine Valley, of all people.
She'll do anything for an Emmy.
Brilliant. My question to you two guys is, some of the best slow motion acting I've ever seen. How did you pull that off?
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing in the world, because you do it in, you know, they crank up the camera and you hear it whirring away and you just scream no and run. But then you have to loop it because they can't use the sound from the film because of the way it's being filmed. So you have to go into a sound studio and go, no. You feel like such a goof, but when you see it on film, you know, you go with it, and it is what it is. And it was, you know, I was hoping that she was just to have a flesh wound or something, you know, because it would have been good to see that relationship continue on for a while.
Yeah.
And the reason I met that demise is because I asked Leonard Katzman to be killed off. I knew it was the last season. I was 8 months pregnant when I married Bobby Ewing. I had the biggest bouquet of flowers. If you go back and look at the reruns, it was all hollowed out, and I still have the Polaroids of the campy things that we did. And I knew I was never going to be a first-time mom ever again. So he is correct. My little angel, Luke, was born, and 5 weeks later, I was on a plane with him to Paris to shoot our honeymoon. And so, well, of course, I brought along my mom because I didn't trust anybody else with my baby but my mother. And Leonard was great because he's correct. We would have romantic honeymoon scenes, and then I would hear the baby go on the set, and I'd go, better cut, no cut, I gotta go for a little nursing time. So it was like 2 hours filming, 30 minutes off, 2 hours filming, 30 minutes off. But that was really my choice. If you're mad at the producers, it was all my fault asking to be killed. And note to self, never ask to be killed off because you never know when they're going to reboot it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm a big Brenda Strong fan. I really did like Bobby and Ann. I thought they were a really good couple. But I can also see...
She was not April Stevens.
She was not. I could also see Bobby and April living together for the long term as well. So that was one of my favorite episodes and one of my worst episodes. So.
And Brenda happens to be a very dear friend of mine, so I can just like...
Fabulous.
And she's tall. She's really tall. The tallest actress I think I've ever worked with. You know, somebody that you look right in the eye. You know?
Yeah.
It was an interesting difference.
She's an amazing lady. Okay, so Sue Ellen, tired of Peter. That didn't last. She moved on. Let's have a look at that breakup scene.
You expect me to leave Southfork? JR for you? To raise a child and live here with you?
I don't know what I thought exactly.
Then I guess I better tell you the truth once and for all. Peter, I have very strong feelings for you. I think you're a wonderful, pure boy. But if that accident hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have had that child anyway. I would have aborted it. The pregnancy was a mistake. Our relationship is a mistake. I told you before that I didn't want to hurt you, and I have. And I didn't want to be hurt, and I am. So, Peter, I am telling you something once and for all. It is over, through, finished, done. And I don't want to ever see you again. Oh, I know the pain that you must be going through right now, because I've been there. But it passes. It always does. You just stay out of my life.
How could you be so cruel to that pure, wonderful boy?
It was acting. I love him.
It was sad, but I got to wear pants later.
Chris, I think we've all been there. I have, and I think we all want to just take poor Peter in our arms, give him a hug. What advice would you give to Peter, young you in that clip, about getting over a broken heart? It seems like the end of the world at the moment, doesn't it?
I think the first thing is how lucky was I that I had a broken heart.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I mean, it's true that I was lucky enough to have that relationship, and even though it hurts, it's still magic that I had that.
I think that's the key to happiness. Find the joy in the pain. Yeah, and move on. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. All right, well, the last one of these death scenes, my goodness, it's maybe one of the best. Let's look at Sue Ellen and Nicholas's love affair ending with a big old thud.
Where is my son, you bastard?
Where you'll never find him.
That's not good enough. Where is he?
None of your damn business, Pierce.
I'm making it my business. Now you tell me, or do I start taking you apart? One sorry excuse for a man.
Get out of here.
Not without some answers. And believe me, I will truly enjoy kicking the crap out of you.
Where is he, JR?
You're trespassing. If I have to use this, it'll all be on my side, so get the hell out of here.
You don't have the guts to use it.
Call off your gigolo, honey.
No! I'd like to report a double murder. This is Sue Ellen Ewing.
Jack, I assume you thought you might not be coming back next season?
Well, it could have been a dream.
For sure. And again,
but it wasn't.
Amazing acting. Was that you, or was that a stuntman who did that fall from?
That was a dummy.
Oh yeah.
The whole fight, Larry's going, not the hair. Don't hit the hair. Don't touch the hair.
I love hearing Larry's little oomph after he's shot. You can hear a little oomph off screen. That was his final breath, we thought. I want to end by asking about season-ending cliffhangers. They were such a big deal. And Patrick and Linda, you did so many of them. I was curious to ask, of all the cliffhangers, which were your favorites?
I mean, honestly, there were so many cliffhangers that I loved. I loved them all. I couldn't wait. Obviously, it was the Who Shot JR.
Classic.
Well, the Bobby death was not really a cliffhanger, so that wasn't the cliffhanger. Although the shower scene, did not answer any questions, and so the cliffhanger was, what the hell was going on? When she opened the shower door and there was Bobby saying good morning. So, it's nice to have one, to have an iconic television moment. We all work our butts off all the time, every actor on every television show, and you can be remembered or not remembered. So to have two things, a theme song, and the Dallas theme song is universal, and God bless that guy who made that song. To have a moment that is remembered. Larry loved the fact that Who Shot JR is the most remembered moment, in the history of television. Maybe Lucy giving birth to young Ricky might have been, at the time, one of the big ones. But to have that, or Coming Back from the Dead, or any of those, it's something you just get to wear with pride for the rest of your career.
Yeah. That shower scene, I will never forget over that. Did you end up getting a real offer from Irish Spring to shoot a real commercial?
I didn't get a free bar of freaking soap.
Fans, I'm sure, have given you some soap over the years.
I got enough out of doing that.
Well, the last question I have before you're needed for more photos with these amazing people is the final episode of the TNT show was a cliffhanger. And we saw Christopher blown to bits. And that's not an image that we want to end this all with. So I want to ask Patrick and Linda, what happened to Christopher, and where are Patrick and where are Bobby and Sue Ellen today? We need something happier to think about.
Oh, great, thanks. I throw it to me, right? Okay. Yeah, because we were, yes, okay. I'm going to just be very honest. I thought it was ended very badly. And left a lot of our wonderful fans like you wondering, why did it end like that? Number one, why did it end? That's what we keep thinking. And why did it end like that? And what happened to Christopher? And why was he killed? We know why he was killed, because he asked to be off the show. And so they just chose to do it that way. But it left us all with the feeling of not respecting the legacy of this beautiful show that had been created since 1978. Patrick and I were on the original, obviously, the original show. So for us, personally, I feel that it was a terrible way to end this wonderful series. And we didn't know what was going to happen. And there was a 6-month delay, 6 months before we knew whether TNT was going to pick us up or not. And so we were all kind of on hold. Literally, we couldn't do anything else for 6 months. And then we found out that we were not picked up. It was just this way, it didn't end the way it should have for us. That's my personal opinion.
And it wasn't the actor's decision, it wasn't the producer's decision, it was an executive decision high up in TNT. So send your hate letters to TNT Television, Burbank Studios, Hollywood, California, and put copy to Linda Gray.
Well, maybe there'll be one more treat for fans. Who knows? As Christmas present next year, we'll see. Let's hold out hope. And I want to thank you all. I'm going to, in my mind, picture Bobby and Sue Ellen living in that house. All of you, how about living in that house? You'll always be there. Every time we see that house, we're going to have memories of each and every one of you and the ones who are with us anymore. Thank you for being Ewings, and thank you for playing with us this weekend.